Hey, all out there in YouTube television land. Hope you enjoyed part two.
With your older brother.
Right.
These other kids shouldn't be a problem for you. And that's what I mean when people talk about shelter and all that stuff. Mom allowed certain things like that to happen so that she could give the lesson that she wanted to give as opposed to the rest of the world trying to give the lesson they want to give.
Right.
So she allowed me and Mari to wrestle. We'd hurt ourselves and all that sort of thing. And then she could say things like that. Or she would say things to my older brother, Mari, where she's like, okay, you keep roughing him up like this. I'm telling you, he's going to get bigger than you one day and you ain't going to be able to keep doing this. And lo and behold, I'm like maybe like 2, 3, 4 inches taller than Mari now.
Really?
So, I don't know if y'all want to call it speaking to existence or not, whatever. It just happened. But, and I think she was trying to teach him something in that. But I know for me, it sort of made me feel good. But at the same time, like, I'm going to get bigger than him. But it was still a thing of like, if I can wrestle my older brother at home, I'm not really worried about anybody else.
Right.
So she definitely had a method for that.
Yeah, I think in a way that helped build confidence.
Yeah, and one thing she would do that a lot of parents don't do, for those who want to call my mom sheltering and overprotective, one thing she would do when we were wrestling, you know what she would do?
What?
She would walk upstairs. She didn't sit down and watch us wrestle and make sure we were safe. She went upstairs.
Right.
And if something got too loud, then she'd come down. But even her walking away gave us that sense of, we got to learn how to control this. Even without us saying it out loud, it was like, ooh, like we'd be wrestling and we almost hit like, ooh, stop, move that table out the way. Boy, you almost hit your head. And then we move it out the way and get back to it. And so we learned some kind of self-control from all of that because she wasn't sitting there hovering the whole time. She went upstairs.
Wow. That's amazing. So do you look at her parenting style as kind of like a non-traditional, or like not like the usual old school parenting?
I would say moms, and what a lot of parents are missing is it's like I feel like a lot of parents, especially parents today, because they always want to talk about, I'm old school, all this stuff. I don't think we really understand old school. We don't understand those who were good at old school. We don't really understand them. Those who were bad at it, we don't really understand them. We just like to say we're old school. And then we go, and, I can't stand to hear parents say, oh no, I beat my kids. I'm old school. I don't do that. It's like, look, okay, I'm not against whoopings and all that sort of thing, but there's got to be some thought behind it. Right. You whooping your child every week sounds like you ain't got no control. I can count on one hand how many times I got a whooping in my life because I didn't have to get a whooping that many times. Mom and dad knew what they were doing. If you're whooping your child like every week or even every month, you don't have it all together, I don't think. So, even when mom gave whoopings, it didn't always even hurt that much. It was more like, I whoop you hard enough to make my point.
At what age was that, like, where it was like you really got whoopings? Like,
it didn't take long because, nobody likes a whooping. I think where a lot of parents go wrong is you keep doing it. And then you keep doing it, you walk off and get mad, you don't explain what you did.
Right.
But with mom,
the communication thing,
and with mom and with dad too, they would explain it first before you even got a whooping. Like, mom always said, a whooping is capital punishment. That's after you've done something really bad, or after you keep doing something after I done told you to stop. But it was always an explanation first.
Right.
It was unless it was just something blatantly stupid, like, why did you bite your brother? Or why did you, I remember Lauren. Yeah, hey Lauren. I remember Lauren once got a whooping for stabbing one of us with a pencil. Like, there was no explanation for that. And me and Mark, we didn't like Lauren at the time, so me and Mark were dapping each other up, like, "Whoa, she finally got it this time."
You didn't like Lauren.
Yeah, because
That's
she was daddy's little girl and mommy's little girl to an extent. So anytime something bad happened, it would fall on us. So when she got a whooping, like, "Whoa, she finally got hers. She finally got."
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but it was never like a weekly thing. It was stuff that clicked in our heads. We associated stupidity with whoopings. So, like, if you were just blatantly being stupid or blatantly being rebellious,
deserved
that. Exactly.
Right.
So, but for the most part, like, we could go years without getting a whooping because we didn't need them that much. Like, one whooping was about it. And then mom would cry after she gave you the whooping. Our parents say, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. She never had to say that. We could see it. She would cry. She'd come on and hold on to you, say, it does not make me feel good to hurt you, and explain why she did what she did. And it wasn't so much we were afraid of whoopings. Looking back on it now, it was like, I once heard a dude, he was talking to Malcolm Jamal Warner. I forgot his name. He was a doctor of some sort, but he's like, you don't necessarily want to beat your child. You want to love your child so good that their biggest fear is disappointing you. So mom loved us so good that we kind of looked at mom was like, this isn't someone who I want to make upset. This is someone who I want to be proud of me. Because mom expressed that pride every day.
Yeah.
So for us to be, the whooping didn't really hurt so much as like, dang, I did something so bad that mom wanted to whoop me. I disappointed my parent. Right. Kind of thing, and that's what a lot of parents are missing out on. If you get to a point where you're whipping your child to the point where it don't hurt anymore, now your child want to fight you, it's because you forgot this step. You've got to do what my mom did. The love always came first. The love was always so big and overwhelming that at the end of the whooping, we pretty much forgot about it. Like, I don't even remember all my whoopings. Because the thing I remember most is her holding on to us, crying, and then explaining everything, and then she'd probably get us something to eat. We were still on, and just spending time with us afterwards. And that love was so doggone strong that we weren't even thinking about the whooping anymore. Right. And she wasn't the kind of walk around, bragging about a whooping, getting on the phone with her friends, talking about she never fussed at us on the phone. Mom was like, I will never embarrass my children in public. That's one of her rules. She's like, I will never, I forgot what I did, but it was, no, I do remember, because I was watching Sanford and Son, and, on the show, Fred would never shake hands with anybody, because he's like, I don't be shaking nobody's hands who I don't know, talking about germs and all that stuff. So I saw it on TV, made mom and dad laugh. I thought it was funny. So I was probably like maybe 5 or 6. So we were at a store. I forgot what we were shopping for, but the dude went to shake my hand. Like, what's up, little man? I'm like, ooh, I don't shake hands. Like, and then mom and dad both laughed it off. And then when the man turned around, mom leaned down like, don't you ever let me see you do nothing like that again. You do shake hands. You understand me? You will get a whooping of your life if you're that rude again. But the beauty in that,
of your life.
Right, but she was, and I cried because I was embarrassed. She didn't even have to whoop me. It was just like, darn. I thought it was funny. I was trying to make people laugh. And so the fact that my parents were embarrassed by what I did, yeah, exactly. And she didn't do it in front of the guy. Like, she wasn't trying to prove that she was anything. She wasn't trying to prove that she was a good parent. My child made a mistake, so now I'm going to fuss at you in front of everybody. She did it in private, because she. And people always talk about how people used to go to my mom all the time and be like, how do you parent your kids so well? Because you can tell anytime your kids want to be up under you, not only do we, because what a lot of parents, it's either one extreme or the other. You want to be up under your parent because that's your friend and you like to key it up with them, but you don't respect them as mom. Or you don't want to spend time with them, you still respect them as the authority. But we wanted to spend time with mom and we saw her as the authority. Like, we never crossed that line, but we always wanted to be up under her. And people saw that. So people would always ask her, like, how do you do what you do so well? And mom was like, I treat my kids like human beings. And, she said, I still treat them like kids, but I treat them like human beings. So they still need structure. They still need that authority. But at the same time, I'm not going to just dog them out in front of everybody. I'm not going to embarrass them in public. I'm not going to be whipping my kids every week. When we have a problem, we sit down and we talk about it. And so that's what a lot of parents are missing. It's a lot of critical thinking that went into what mom was doing. So it wasn't just one way or the other. Mom didn't get a lot of her parenting from TV. There were certain people that she looked up to, like Claire Huxtable from the Cosby Show. She looked up to her. She liked her class. And so she would kind of like implement that a little bit into her own style of just being a person. Or, she liked how her own mom took care of the house, cooking and cleaning. So she said, that's a dream of hers. She always tried to implement some of that. But, she always had some kind of thought in mind. It was always some thought that went into what she was doing. Right. Yeah, even in our disagreements.
Seems like she had a lot of patience. Yeah, it was a big communicator. Because I think sometimes I'm not a parent. I don't have kids yet.
Yeah.
But I do think sometimes parents let the frustration of the world or work, whatever it is going on around them, and it kind of it's channeled into their discipline with their kids sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about my parents, right. But I'm just saying as far as what I've seen, what I've been around, whatever I've observed. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes even when I'm disciplining a little cousin or my niece and nephew accidentally hit me the wrong way, I have to think first to not get angry, but to explain to them why they're wrong. So that's good, because communication is key.
Yeah.
It's not always, about hitting and you gonna do what I say and sit down, be seen and not heard.
And of course, mom wasn't perfect, but you could even see like that method or that good instinct even in those flawed moments. Like I remember, I can pinpoint like maybe 2 times, and my brother Mari, my older brother Mari, would tell this story to brag about me.
Mhm.
But in that story, I can also see my mom's wisdom. There was one time, because my brother Mari would tell the story how like anytime mom would come down on you, you always fold immediately, which is true. She's mom, so whatever she says goes and all that stuff. But I don't know where my inquisitive nature came from. I may have got it from her, and may have got it from dad. Maybe been a mixture of the two. But at some point, it was I think I was also taking God seriously at some point. But I don't know what the argument was about. Mom was mad at me about something, and I didn't understand why. And tears were running down my face, like I just want to know why. And she's like, "If you don't shut your mouth right now, I'm gonna get you." And I couldn't let it go for whatever reason. Like, Mom, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not trying to get on you. I just want to know why. Like, I don't know what I did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't whoop me. She didn't come and attack me. She was angry. And in the moment, I don't know what happened, but in the moment, I think she realized I can't whoop my son for not understanding. So she went upstairs. She cooled off upstairs. I stayed downstairs. I cried. My brother Mari just kind of sat with me and watched. And maybe like a few minutes or so later, she met me again and talked everything through, and we hugged, and that was it. But you can see a mother's instinct, because a lot of parents, they get mad, and of course they want to beat you into submission. But my mom knew, like, my son's not trying to be disrespectful in this moment. And so whatever her instincts were kicked in and made her go upstairs before she went off. And then she came back downstairs again in love and explained everything. Again, the respect for her being mom was still there, but that sense of, I can't just do whatever I want to do because I'm the authority also came in. I got to make sure I'm doing the best I can for my kid, so that my kid knows I still love him, and that I don't want to just hurt him because I'm angry for no reason. Need him to know that mom is still stable. Because, even when I got a job, I still felt secure when I was around mom, because she always had that security about her.
Right.
That ability to think things through, as opposed to just acting on, instinct or on anger.
Emotion.
The ability to walk away, when you realize me whooping him right now wouldn't make sense. The ability to swallow your pride and be like, I know I'm the mother. He knows I'm the mother, and I don't have anything to prove to my son. Like, I don't have anything to prove to you, but because I love you, I'm going to walk upstairs and think this through, and then I'm going to come. And then it wasn't like she was petty. She didn't walk around being silent the whole day. She went upstairs to think, to cool off, and then she came back downstairs and saw me, gave me a hug, and talked everything through. So yeah, she had I don't know where she got it from, but she just had this innate parenting instinct.
So tell me about some of like the lessons you may have learned from her, the teachings she gave you, whether it's life lessons. Well, I think they all play along as life lessons that you're using now. I think you mentioned her being very organic, raw.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh.
She had her own way about things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
I remember, I'm just remembering now as you're talking. I remember one time, this was after mom and dad's divorce, and mom has always wanted a desire to just be with a man. That was one of her weak points. She just always wanted to be with somebody, and that played out in different ways. So one way it played out, she started bringing alcohol into the house. Before then, there was never alcohol in the house. We just thought drinking was a sin. And so for our mother, who kind of instilled this in us to bring alcohol into the house, and I'm trying to be a Christian, all this stuff, it was kind of baffling. It was a little traumatic. I was like, what are you doing? And so she would drink in front of me.
What are you doing?
Yeah, so she would drink in front of me. I remember one time she got mad at me questioning it. So she's like, what, the more you question it, the more it makes me want to drink. Like, she was on that.
Wow.
And she would, she'd be laughing off, but she was serious. And you could tell we were having somewhat of like the way me and mom's relationship was growing. Like, that was like, I would pinpoint as like a growth moment, where it's like.
Around how old were you around that time?
I was probably around maybe 15, 14,
okay.
maybe
Gotcha.
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And and I remember that moment. But I think that same day she came and said, Isaiah, I didn't drink anything. We're cool for the night. I'm not going to overdo it. You don't got to worry about it. But sometime later, one thing mom said to me, when she got herself back on track, she was like, I forgot what the conversation was, but she was like, Isaiah, you've seen me do all my dirt, but the one thing I've never done was excuse myself. And I can look back, she never did. Like, everything she did, she never said that God was okay with this. She never said I'm doing the right thing. she would be living her sin in front of us, but she never made excuses for it.
Thought it was cool to view part 2? Just wait till you see part 3.